Hi, this is Bill with SparkyChannel.com, coming to you from the Ideal National Championships in Orlando, Florida. This is the professional individual finals. The winner will win a $75,000 cash prize. Second place will win $25,000. And third place will win $10,000. Winners from each of the 50 states, each of the Canadian territories, and 12 wild card winners have competed to get to these finals. There will be 3 professional finals winners. Here comes the first pro contestant. Representing Minnesota is Eric Martin. Eric got to these finals as a wild card contestant. Representing Illinois is Greg Anlicker, who won this pro individual event in 2016 and the team pro event in 2017. Here is last year's finals winner, Roman Riznuski from Pennsylvania. Roman won the top pro individual award in 2017. This competition will be to install an overhead service with 2 circuits that the competitors will have to pipe and run. One circuit will be an exterior GFCI circuit, and the second circuit will be an exterior lighting circuit. All 3 contestants will have identical setups and materials to work with. I'll be focusing in on Roman's work. The contestants are given time to get organized, and now it's time for the event to begin.
In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
This box here is called a meter center. Sometimes it's called a meter can. It is the box which receives the rigid metallic conduit, which is called the mast, and the service entrance cable, which you will see Roman installing. The utility installs the meter in the meter center after this job has been inspected and passed. The competitors will be given 1 hour and 15 minutes to complete this task. The competitors will be judged on speed, workmanship, and safety. So finishing first is excellent, but it doesn't mean that you necessarily win. You have to also do everything correctly and have excellent workmanship and safety habits. Roman has made measurements so that he knows where the mast is going to go. The mast has to go up through the eave and also through the roof. Roman has grabbed his hole saw with an extra long 1/4 inch bit, and he's already got his spot measured out where he knows he wants to drill the hole. He's already drilling the hole. Boy, this is really fast. He's really moving along. Okay, he's drilled through the eave, and that makes a hole because of the extra long bit in the roof as well. Now he's pulling out a wooden plug, pulling it out of the hole saw, and now he's got a hole in the roof where the extra long bit shows him where to drill. Now he's drilling down through the roof so that there's a hole that extends through the eave and through the roof. Now Roman is going to install some support clamps for the service mast. This is a strategy he's using to speed things up. And you see here in 238.28 in the 2017 NEC code, an A is the strength of the mast is very, very important. It says the service mast shall be of adequate strength or be supported by braces or guys to withstand safely the strain imposed by the service drop or overhead service conductors. So he's putting the clamps on right now, screwing them on. He's already got his measurements made out. He's done this all very quickly and in a very organized manner. Now Roman's going to move the 6-foot fiberglass ladder out of the way, and he grabs the bigger ladder. And he's got to be careful to not hit the photographers and video guys. Okay, now he's got the bigger ladder set up, and here he's already grabbed the 10-foot rigid 2-inch conduit, and he's putting it in through the hole, and putting it in through the first clamp, putting it in through the second clamp, and oh, look at that! Look at that fit! That was perfect! Oh my goodness, that's harder to do than you would imagine. Look at that, it's right on the money. Okay, so he's got the 2 clamps. Whoops, almost slipped there. We get the 2 clamps, and now he's going to tighten the 2-inch rigid conduit into the hub. You just screw it right in. Now Roman's going to get a very large pair of adjustable pliers and tighten the service mast down into the 2-inch hub. Article 230.28a continues on. Hubs intended for use with a conduit that serves as a service mast shall be identified for use with service entrance equipment. And under Article 230.66 marking, it says service equipment rated at 1,000 volts or less shall be marked to identify it as being suitable for use as service equipment. All service equipment shall be listed or field labeled. Individual meter socket enclosures shall not be considered service equipment, but shall be listed and rated for the voltage and ampacity of the service. Now Roman has completed his mast clamping. Now he'll remove the cover from the meter socket enclosure and he'll work on a knockout. He's completed the 2-inch knockout on the side of the meter socket enclosure. Now he'll add a threaded 2-inch nipple which will go from the meter socket enclosure to a new 200 amp main panel. As you see here, he'll be using the proper weather tight fittings to secure both ends of the nipple. Now he's working on the main panel, which can also be called the main breaker load center or the main electrical service panel. He's now installing a 2-inch clamp type knockout plug on the top of the main panel. Now he's going to grab the main panel and put it up on the wall, but it's just a dry run to see what size knockout he needs to make. There he goes, he got it. He got the 2-inch knockout. Okay, now he's going to make another knockout on the back. All right, that's for fastening to the wall. Now the idea is to get organized. See, he's going to be putting the main panel up onto the wall. He's got to get his screw gun ready, his screws. Okay, here he goes. Puts it up. Okay, now he's checking for level with the 6-inch ideal level. And he's going to put in the first screw. Now he'll put a screw in each of the indented areas of the main panel so that the box will be very, very stable. Now on to running the 4 AWG ground wire. Roman will knock out a 3/4 inch knockout in the main panel and grab a piece of Schedule 40 gray PVC conduit. He'll use the proper PVC fittings to attach the conduit to the main panel, check the conduit for level, and install 2 clamps to secure the PVC pipe. Now he'll screw on the proper lock nut onto the 2-inch diameter nipple in the main panel. It's important to get the lock nuts good and tight. Okay, it's got that tightened down. Now here's the service entrance cable. That is 3/0 service entrance cable. Now Roman has a ratchet and he's going to loosen up the lugs on the meter socket enclosure. This picture is of a Siemens meter socket enclosure, the same brand that Roman is working on right now. And see, I have a lug pointed out at the top. Those 2 top lugs are where the hot service entrance cables will be connected. Roman's loosening all these lugs up right now. The two bottom lugs are where the two hot feeder cables will be leaving this enclosure. The two lugs right in the middle of the box, the top one is where the neutral service entrance cable will come in and be attached, and he'll put white tape around that to designate it as the neutral. And then the bottom middle lug is where the neutral feeder cable will leave the enclosure. Now Roman is going to mark the neutral service entrance cable with white electrician's tape. This is to show that it is the neutral service entrance cable. Now he's pushing it up through the rigid conduit. There it comes out the top. And you see the white tape on it, designating that it is a neutral line. Now he's got to mark it. He's got to do the same thing on the bottom. He's got to mark the bottom with white tape as well. This is extremely important. It's very, very important that this particular cable be designated on both ends as neutral. Now Roman is stripping the end of the service entrance cable, and he's preparing to put it in the neutral lug. He's getting it positioned into the neutral lug right now, and there you see the white marked cable coming into that middle lug. Now he's got a ratchet and he's tightening down the lug. There you go. Getting it good and tight. These need to be about 250 inch-pounds is what's typically required. So now he's putting up the next cable, the next service entrance cable. In total, he'll have 3 cables going through the rigid conduit. It'll be 2 black ones and 1 marked white. And sometimes one of the black ones will be marked red. I know inspectors in my area like to have one of them marked red on both ends. And then there's one that's unmarked, that's black, and there's one that's marked white on both ends for the neutral. Now Roman is putting the first of the hot service entrance cables in the lug on the right. He's got his ratchet. He'll be tightening that lug down to the correct torque specification, which is written on the inside of the panel. And so he's now tightening down the hot service entrance cable on the right hand lug there. Okay, now he's putting up the third service entrance cable. And here it comes. It's coming right out the top there. And so now he's got 3. 2 unmarked and 1 marked white on both ends. Now he's got the end stripped off of the third service entrance cable, and he's going to get it into position to put it on the lug on the left-hand side. Now he's got his ratchet. He's going to ratchet it down. So you see he's got the 2 black hot cables going to the 2 outer lugs, and he's got the white marked neutral cable going to the middle lug. This picture here is a close-up of what it will look like when he's done securing these 3 cables. So these are the 3 cables that are coming out the rigid conduit. Now Roman is loosening the lugs on the load center. On the picture on the right, he'll need to loosen up the neutral lug nut that I have the arrow pointing to, and the 2 lug nuts for the hot cables. Now that he's got the lug nuts loosened up, he's going to take another piece of cable, and this cable is called a feeder cable. It's the same cable that's used for service entrance cable, but now it's got a different name because it's going from the meter socket enclosure to the load center, so it's called a feeder cable. And he's going to need to wrap both ends of this particular feeder cable with white electrician's tape, because this is the neutral feeder cable. He just stripped one end of this neutral feeder cable, and now he's going to be putting it in the neutral lug. Now he's got his ratchet, and he's going to tighten it down securely. Now he's wrapping the other end of the cable with white electrician's tape. And he's getting it into place. This is 3/0 cable. It's pretty difficult to work with. Okay, he's cutting it now with a ratcheting tool. Okay, now he's going to strip an end on it. And now he's putting it into the bottom portion of the neutral lug. Now he's going to take another portion of feeder cable and slip it through the nipple. And now he's bringing it over to the load center. And he's going to just judge and see how much cable he needs. And now he's going to take that razor knife and strip off an end to the feeder cable to go into the lug on the load center. So there it is, right into the lug there. I was going to grab the ratchet and loosen it up a little bit so that it can go in all the way. Now he's going to take it and tighten it down.
Just under 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
So that is one of the hot cables. So now it's going over to the meter socket enclosure. Now he's going to size up the feeder cable and just figure out how far it needs to go. And now he's already cutting it. He's using his ratcheting tool, and he's already cutting the feeder cable. And there it goes. That's cut. Now he's going to strip an end on it. Roman's really working hard here. He's getting this cable ready to go into the meter socket enclosure. And he's got the end stripped. And now he's putting it in place in the right spot. And now he's got the ratchet. And he's ratcheting it down. He's going to have one more hot cable to go over to the load center. So he's ratcheting this one down right now. Getting the cable in place where he wants it. Okay, here comes the last cable. This is called a feeder cable, and he's working it over to the load center. Okay, he's going to strip on a new end. And now he's tightening down the last feeder cable with the ratchet. On the left-hand side of your screen, I have a picture of an arrow pointing to the connection that he's currently working on. Now he's sized up his cable. That is, he's figured out where he's going to be cutting his cable. Now he's grabbing his ideal ratcheting cable cutter and he's cutting the cable. It ratchets and there it is. It's cut just like that. Now he's got that last cable into its lug and he's tightening it down with the ratchet. Now Roman has the number 4 AWG grounding cable and he's going to fish it up through his 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. Okay, now he's taking it out. Now, this grounding cable has to be marked green. Sometimes you can get the green cable, but if it's not marked green, you got to take green electrician's tape and tape it up so it's green and everyone knows that it's the ground. So you can see now that the black ground wire has been taped up with the green electrician's tape. Now he's stripping an end on the cable and he's going to put it in the load center and he's going to attach it to the bus bar of the load center. I have a photograph to the right with an arrow pointing to the actual installation. Now he's installing a bonding clamp and that's a picture of the finished product to your left. Notice that there is a copper bar to the left right here that represents a grounding rod. And there's another one right in front of Roman that also represents a grounding rod. Now these two supposedly ground rods are more than 6 feet apart, which is necessary by code. And Roman is clamping the ground cable to the first ground rod. To your left is a close-up of what this attachment looks like. Now he's making the attachment to the ground rod on the left, and this is a close-up of what it looks like. On to the next step. Roman has grabbed a weatherhead, which is also known as a service entrance cap, and he's knocking out the knockouts, and now he's going to go up the big ladder up to the top of the rigid conduit. Now he'll put the 3 service entrance cables through the weatherhead and tighten down the weatherhead. To your left, I've put up a depiction showing some of the actual codes in a real installation, but for our purposes here, we're just going to put up the weatherhead and that'll be enough for this. He's getting the cables ready for what is called a service drop, and this little drawing to the left here shows you what a service drop is. Now on to running the electrical circuits. Roman's going to check the instructions and see exactly where he's supposed to put his exterior box. It's a receptacle box. The instructions show that he needs to run EMT, that's electrical metallic tubing, from the load center to his exterior receptacle box. So he's got his ideal 1/2 inch bender and he's starting to bend his EMT conduit. Now he's putting another bend on his EMT conduit. It's very important to stay in the same plane as the first bend. Now he's putting his conduit up on the wall, and he's going to make a mark right where the EMT conduit will go into his fitting that goes into the load center. He's going to make a mark right there, and that's where he's going to cut it. Now he's cutting it with his hacksaw. You see, he's using his bender to hold up the EMT so he can make the cut. Now he's reaming out the conduit so that the wire isn't nicked when it runs through it. But now he's going to do a box offset bend, and that's to get the cable gently up off the surface of the plywood in the correct plane, and so it goes easily into the load center. Now he's putting a fitting into the load center, and now he's going to put the EMT into the fitting, and I'm sure he's going to tighten it down. Okay, he's got his ideal adjustable pliers, and he's going to tighten that down. Then he's going to go over to the receptacle box in a moment. Okay, he's going to get some clamps to clamp the pipe in place. And check it with his 6-inch level there. Make sure it's level. And now he's going to put this one into the receptacle fitting and get that tightened down. So he has his first EMT run the way he wants it, and now he's going to work on his second one. So he's pulling out his 1/2-inch EMT bender, and he'll make a box offset bend. And now he's got a mark here where he's going to make his second bend. He's got to get it just in the right plane, and there we go. He's got a second bend. This one's going to go up to a light up by the eave of the roof. So he's going to go ahead and put that in there. He's got one clamp on his EMT, and you notice he has this little magnetic level on the EMT just to check it out and make sure it's nice and level. Now he's going to take off the clamp. He's made a mark up top where he wants to cut it. Now he's going to put his EMT on top of his bender so that he can use his hacksaw and have the EMT up off the floor because of the bender, and he's going to go ahead and cut the EMT with the hacksaw. All right, it's already cut. Now he's going to take a reamer. He's looking for it. Reamer. There's the reamer. Okay, now he's going to ream out the EMT to take care of any nicks and so forth. Okay, now he's going to put a box offset on the end of this EMT. So he's bent it like 10 degrees and flip it around and bend it another 10 degrees. He already has his box offset done. Now he's going to put one end of the EMT in the exterior box, and once again he's got to get it level. The first time he just put up the EMT for measurement purposes. He got it level so that he could get a good measurement. But okay, he just put a clamp on right there, and once he sees it's nice and level, he screws it down the rest of the way. He's putting on one more clamp. And here we go with the light. Here comes the light. So he's got the EMT just the way he wants it. And he's got the light where he wants it now. He's checking it with the level. Get that EMT nice and level. Now that he's got the light where he wants it, he's pulling out the wire caddy. He's got black, red, white, and green wire. And he's going to be fishing the wire through the EMT. He's twisting the wire together now. Once he has it the way he wants it, he's going to put it in the load center. He's got it in the load center now. He's getting a little slack from his wire caddy, and he's pushing it through the EMT. And there it is. It came out. It came out at the exterior receptacle box. Now he's pulling it. You see he's got a twist on the end there. Okay, so he's got the wire again now. He's got some slack in it. He's got it twisted together, and he's pushing it up the EMT. Just by hand. He's not even using a fish tape. So here it comes. Watch the light box. Watch the light box. And there it is. The wire just came out of the light box. And the crowd gives him a hand, because that's harder to do than you might suspect. Now he'll install 2 GFCI circuit breakers in the load center. And he'll run the appropriate wires to the circuit breakers. Now it's time to wire the exterior receptacle. Since the circuit breaker is a GFCI circuit breaker, this receptacle doesn't need to be GFCI as well. So now Roman has grabbed the exterior cover . These exterior covers are really quick to install if you know the tricks. The first thing you have to do is put on the gasket. That's the weather-tight gasket. It goes on the box, and then you put the weatherproof cover onto that. You squish it on, and it makes a weather-tight connection. And there's a trick to putting these covers on really quickly. And what you do is you leave the screws out about 1/2 inch, and you slide the cover over to the right, and it kind of clicks into place, and then you tighten down the screws. Now this is a problem here because he didn't put his gasket on. I'm sorry to say that, but there's no weather-tight gasket on this thing. Oh boy, $75,000 on the line. And he didn't put a weatherproof gasket on the weatherproof cover.
10 minutes, 45 seconds.
Well, let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, he's taking it off. Took it off. He slid it to the left, and then it pulls off. Okay, so here's the weatherproof gasket. Okay, watch it. He slides it to the right. Watch it. Okay, it goes in. Then you tighten it down. That's the trick. They're really fast to install. There we go. Okay, now we're in business. He's got the weather-tight gasket, and he's putting on the exterior cover. Okay, that's going to work there. There you go. Excellent. That's an extra big one, so that you can have your extension cords and so forth just plugged in all the time. They come out the bottom. I've made several videos on those. They're really cool. Okay, so now we're working on the light. We're getting close to finishing here. These guys must be really tired. This is a really fast pace of work. But that's why they're up for winning all that money. Okay, so he's using the ideal strippers to quickly strip the wires. And he has to integrate the switch, which is just above the light there. That's the solar switch. It turns off during the day and on at night. So he's using the ideal Twister Pro high performance wire connectors. Put them on there. Okay, this gives you a little look at the competition. See how hard they're working. You can tell they're really concentrating and really going as hard as they can. 75K for first place, 25 for second, 10,000 for third place. And these guys have to be tired working at this pace with all these cameras in their face and everything. Man, oh man, this is tough. But think about the prize, you know. Okay, now Roman's getting the light situated. Those are stranded wires, so you need to twist them first. Get them nice and tightly twisted. Okay, now he's just hooking everything up. Hot to hot, neutral to neutral, ground to ground. And he's going to be good to go. The crowd's anticipating a win for Roman here. He won last year. But you don't know. Even if you finish first, you might not win, because if the inspectors come by and they see things that are improper or unsafe, or they just don't think it's good workmanship, you get marked down. So winning time-wise is not the same as winning the contest. It helps though. Speed is one of the things they will judge. Okay, so now he's tightening on the light. This is exciting. He's getting everything screwed down and in place and set just right. He's using those ideal electrician's champion screwdrivers. The crowd is chanting Roman's name in the background. He's just about done. Okay, he's got him in place. Coming down the ladder. Oh, one more screw. And exterior lights like this, you got to get all the screws in there. You have to have your weather-tight gasket. Everything's got to be weather-tight. Okay. And there's the white clock. See that white clock? Now he's going to do some labeling. The crowd's getting excited. Okay, he's got everything labeled, and now he's going to grab the cover for the box and get that on. It's a little hard after you've been working this hard for over an hour straight. Okay, he's got the cover on. Let's see, is that everything? Is that everything he needs? No, he's got to do something on here. Probably for the cover. All right.
Fuck the lights!
He's done! He finished in just about 1 hour and 12 minutes. The other two contestants are still working hard.
What have you done different in hindsight?
Nothing different. I set up everything in the room. I
actually, because they give us a measurement, that's I measure all the things where to go. I don't even know if it's the right spot. It should be.
There's a lot of variables. We'll see. You finished first, but there's a lot of potential still on the table. All right, man. Cross your fingers. You got everything to do. Yes, sir, man. 56. All right, next up is our pros. Are you guys ready for this? Let's bring them up on stage. Eric Martin, Roman, needs no introduction, and Greg Enrico. Come on. Roman's like, you're supposed to send me the message. What happened? I don't put the guy's number in my phone. Here we go. I'm so excited about this. These three are characters, aren't they? I'll tell you what. Everybody's got a fan club around here. Everybody's got a big fan club. I'm a fan of all three of you guys. You guys work so hard, crazy talented. Clearly we have some repeat faces here too. These guys are the standard, aren't they? I think you guys look up to these guys. You respect their work ethic, their skill. These guys are incredible. And just the time that I've gotten to spend with each one of them has been an absolute pleasure. So for the friendship, for the leadership that you guys have shown, congratulations. All right, we're going to start in third place. This challenge was kind of hard to follow, wasn't it? Especially round two. Leading up, we didn't really know who was winning, who was losing. And then we get the results, and in the end, we're kind of uncertain, right? You know, we see an order of who finished first, but you're kind of uncertain who's really going to take home the trophy. There's so many variables in this competition, and I think just the overall well-roundedness of skill and practice, and just the ability to execute under pressure is a benchmark of all three of these guys. One just happened to finish a little bit faster, right? Okay. Third place in the individual professional. Let's give it up for Eric Martin. Who is it going to be? You know, these are two returners, right? Guys, come on up, come on up, come on up. Come on up. Right here. Big meet again. This is like round two. This is like the sequel. How much are these checks? 10,000?
Still asking for percentage.
Oh my gosh. I'm nervous for you guys. So there was this one time. I hate this so bad. But I love it. All right, let's do it. You guys have been waiting for this. This has got to be the pinnacle in the trades for an award that I've ever heard of. This is unbelievable. In first place, your ideal national champion is Greg Enrico.
praise and honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus. I love this industry and I love Ideal. 3 years is awesome. I can't say thank you enough. Everyone here is awesome. Congratulations to everyone. I hope to see you all next year. Love you guys.